Aloha, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of the Empath Energy Skills Challenge. I'm super excited because today we're going into what the vast majority of people believe an empath deals with more than the average person, which is emotions. And what is really cool is that we as empathic people do emotions differently than the vast majority of other people. We're not 50% yet, everyone. I know last time I saw a scientific thing, it said we're about 25. I feel we're more like about 43% of the world is woke into their naturally lower chakra extrasensory perception. Just a lot of them aren't talking about it because number one, they don't think it's normal. And number two, they don't think it is something that other people would understand. And I have a distinct feeling inside me that a lot of you have been through this, that you've been through where you're like, wow, people don't understand me. And very few people are like me. Hopefully you had another empathic friend or family member when you were a child so that they could explain to you what was going on. So let's get into the info. The bigger you. I'm not sure who to give credit for this graphic. I found it out on the web with no credit. So I'll just thank whoever created it and share it with you. So your personal energy field contains a lot of things because we can look at it from so many different points of view. You have your chakra centers, and like I showed you in that visual on Monday, you have more than 7, yet you have way more than that. I remember when the first person showed me 144 chakra field, and then another beautiful light worker soul on here, Stephanie Elaine Golden Falcon, showed me 144,000. So know that we have a quantum chakra field. We'll just go with that, and that it's a lot more than the 7 basics that most talk about. Yet you've got those energy centers, which are chakra means wheel in Sanskrit, spinning wheel, I believe. Your meridians, so that is where you look at it like when the Chinese or the Japanese work with acupuncture, meridians, pressure point meridians. You've got a physical body, this thing, which I still know with my gut isn't solid yet. In this experience, it's solid. As a child, I was trying to put my hand through my hand because I knew there was space in between. My mom didn't know what to do with me and my brother. We asked some questions that weren't real normal. The Akashic Records. This is the place where all information is stored. I call it inside. It's inside and outside. It's an access point. Which is connected inside of you. So this is the information that many Akashic Record readers grab onto. Empaths, for me personally, I believe we go in there all the time. That's where I work to get past, present, and future when I'm working with clients, where they go to get those answers for themselves. Grounding, earthing, or planetary connection. You've got your Earth star, which is connected into the soul star of Gaia. It is connected into her soul star. So Mother Earth's soul star, you're connected into with your Earth star. And you're also planetarily connected. Your star system, or multiple star systems, the star you originated from. Your soul or higher awareness. What's interesting is the seat of the soul, most people find to be between the 2nd and 3rd chakra. And then the higher self, just above the tip of the fingers up above you. So just know that you have a lot of wonderful energies. Your electromagnetic field, oh yes. They're calling it your lattice. Electromagnetic field for me is your entire subtle energy body system. And your subtle energy body system is bigger than most people's empaths. A lot of you, I'm sure, have been told you have big energy. You have big energy because You work with your emotions all the time, and it grows. And hopefully your subtle energy bodies are strong, which allows you to be less easily rocked when things happen in the world, things happen in the cosmos, emotional things happen in your life. Life force, or chi, mana for me, right? So mana, the life force that runs through you, and that connection into your anaconda, so into the light column that is you. So your soul, light, and wisdom, and for soul sourcing. Your intuitive awareness, that really needs no explanation. You intuit things. You are able to connect into the energy of something and be able to get information back at a gut level. And from there, the awareness comes up through to the intellect. And then the emotional energy. That is us emoting what's going on with us. So empaths, your energy field contains a lot of things. There is a much bigger you than your thoughts. Entanglement. Empaths, let's own it. We are awesome at entanglement. Entanglement for me is where we hook into someone else's something else, whether it's emotions, thoughts, or pain. It's real easy for us to do this. And it's also a gift when you are using it consciously. When you are using it with intent and you are using it at an awareness level, entanglement can be a beautiful way for you to be able to help someone move through something. Yet it's important, number one, to have permission. Hugely important to have permission, so that when you do decide to go into someone else's field, they have the awareness of what they're feeling. It also can happen where it's destructive. This is codependency. Emotional codependency is rampant on our planet, whether someone is empathic or not. Emotional codependency happens, and it has different sides. There's a doormat side, the one that's submissive and controlled, and then there's the controller side. Empaths own that you could do either side. You can be the one who's always trying to please the other one, or you can be the one who wants to be pleased. Or you can be the one who's controlling the situation via the emotions. So positive entanglement is like connecting into the sun and feeling that power and that empoweredness of something that is supportive. Entangling into a forest, connecting into that beautiful tree energy and that earth energy. So we can use this natural tendency to support us. If it's hurting you or creating havoc in your life, that's when you have to learn to deal with it. Whether you're in a group coaching setting, working on the awareness and then the clearing up the emotional baggage, the mental baggage, the past baggage. Baggage in itself really supports the entanglement that's harmful to you. And remember that you can use this natural tendency as an empath to be helpful to you also. Okay. Empaths, because of our emotional sensitivity, a lot of us do social anxiety. Anxiety is running stronger than ever on the planet right now. It has amplified in the last 6 months, if I was to measure it, by about 47%, which just is a bit neural pathway blowing in my mind. That's why in the empath pain relief kit, there's clear stored anxiety, because anxiety is defeating. Anxiety is fear placed in the future, everyone. Frantic energy affecting your reality placed in the future. You're taking something that hasn't happened and you're imagining something that is hurtful, usually, or at least yucky. And anxiety, when you learn to undo anxiety, it is life-changing. Life-changing. One of the easiest ways to stop doing anxiety is to decide it could have a different outcome than your fear or your worry. You aren't saying what is going to happen. You're just, instead of getting connected to the pain or something that's yucky. You connect to something that's possibly positive or supportive, okay? What feeds social anxiety or any anxiety? Gut trash. A lot of people talk about mind trash. We've got gut trash, empaths, and that is our emotional baggage, our past experiences that are wounding us. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we have to be aware of how we are working with our emotions. Our emotions are our power tools. It is so awesome. Everyone has the right to have any and all emotions. Yet, when they get to be too much, when they get to be overwhelming, when we have too much of it and we act in that way. And what I mean by that is, you know, people who are rageaholics, they have so much stored rage that something that's just barely irritating to most people creates a rage reaction. There are cryaholics. I was probably one of those. I was a really, really awesome crier. And here's how it would work. Someone would hurt me. I would get angry. And instead of yelling, I would cry. And they'd be like, what are you crying about? And I'd be like, I'm angry. And they're like, that doesn't make any sense. You know how that goes? Anybody? Let's see. When we're not treated the way we want to be. Yep. And that's boundaries. Flat out. We need boundaries, everybody. When we have boundaries, what happens is people know how to work with us. All right. So your emotion set. Woo, I'm moving fast. Your emotion set. Your emotion set is all your different emotions. So the good news is the good stuff is here too, the yummy stuff, right? Your emotion set. The big destructive emotions that most of us have stored far too much of: anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame. Then we do anxiety, which feeds fear, and fear feeds anxiety. It's a loop. It's something that you really can't stop until you decide that you're no longer going to play in the playground with it. You also have the positive emotion set: love, joy, happiness. Guess what, everyone? The emotion set is an inside job. We can't blame anyone for our emotion set. No one makes us feel anything. We choose to feel. I'm going to let that sit for a second. No one makes you feel anything. You choose to feel it. I know that that is like one of those things where you're like, are you sure? Yeah. Nobody can make you feel. Feeling is a decision based on a thought or past experience that's triggering from what you're experiencing in the external world. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just sometimes you're hurting yourself by having too many stored emotions. Stored negative, stored hurtful, stored wounded emotions are one of the ways that we actually create dis-ease in our body out of ease, however that is. Yeah, Linda, thank you. She said, one thing I no longer tolerate is you make me. Right, because you don't make me feel. There's a song playing in my head. You make me feel, right? Like a natural woman. Your feelings are yours. And what's inside you is what is really running this whole experience that you're having. We're in our own video game, everyone. This is your own world that you have created, and when you take responsibility for that, your world changes. And cleaning up your emotion set and your belief set are the fastest way to do that. Your feelings are not who you are, you're right, Marie. Yet they're choices on how we respond to them, right? So if you feel a feeling, feeling a feeling takes 90 seconds or less. So feel the feelings, but the emotions are what you're emoting. They're what you've stored and what you're choosing to express. So pay attention to that in a way that supports you in moving into a greater you. The inability to receive. All right, unworthiness. This is a happy Buddha. I love this Buddha. This Buddha is happy. This Buddha is all about it, baby. Give me more. I'm good. Bring it on, right? Well, most of us empaths could be running this or one of the other major societally installed. And what I mean by that is society's construct creates a place where it's easy for us to accept these beliefs. All right. So society doesn't take and put it in you like a card in a slot. It gives you experiences that then from those experiences you choose to bring this in. Now, I'm gonna shine a light that our family do their own patterning, and often we repeat what they've done. Yes, it's also in your DNA and in your energetic makeup that comes in with the cells that created you in physical form. So there's lots of layers in this. Yet the vast majority of empaths that I speak with deal with unworthiness. And unworthiness is when we decide that something outside of us is what makes us worthy. There's the magic. That's the secret. Worthiness is 100% an inside job. Again, no one can make you feel unworthy. Nothing can make you feel unworthy. And what happens is when we feel unworthy, we have an inability to receive. I've been watching this for the last year and a half massively. And I spent time this weekend with a beautiful empathic friend. And I can't remember what I was offering. And she's like, well, I can't. And these people, I can't. And I'm like, stop. You can't what? You can't receive? You never give? Empaths. I know every single one of the people on this call. Every single one of the people on this call gives, and gives a lot. So the magic formula is give, ask, receive. So a lot of you also probably struggle with asking, okay? Asking for support. I have a beautiful empathic friend who lives in another country, needed some help because she was disabled and needed some new eyeglasses, and she asked. And you know what? She got everything she needed. She crowdsourced the remainder of what she needed to get the glasses she needed for her eyesight so that she could keep doing the loving work she was doing for everyone. And if she was feeling unworthy, she wouldn't have been able to post that. And if you are dealing with unworthiness, I totally honor that. It was what was the strongest in me. The strongest. My most embarrassing moment in my life was because of how strongly I ran unworthiness. I had coordinated 27 roofs in the Denver metro area to be replaced for free for Rebuilding Together, which is a division of Habitat for Humanity. I used to own a roofing company. For those of you that don't know, I used to be a roofing contractor. So I coordinated 27 roofs. There was another guy on the committee with me. I think he took me to lunch once. That was his contribution. He was busy. He was a sales rep. I was running a company, having 3 kids, 2 dogs, 3 cats, teaching groups, doing all different things, and running a multi-million-dollar company with my husband at the time and a team. Yet we were able to coordinate 27 roofs and get all the materials paid for, get all the labor, get all the dumps, and actually secured some other material for the project for the next quarter that they had going on for a fall event. Yet I hadn't returned 3 phone calls. Now you just heard the list of what I did do, but I had missed calling back 3 people that might have been able to help even more because I was really busy. Guess what? They went to hand me an award in front of all my peers. There's about 100 people in the room. There's one other woman other than me. The rest of them are men, my peers in the roofing industry. And they call me up on stage and go to give me an award. I take it, I look down, and I say I didn't do everything I could. Tears rolling down my face. I felt unworthy because there were 3 things I hadn't done. Here's a list of what I had. How out of balance is that? So if you feel unworthy, know that you too can get out of it. It hurts my heart because so many people run the unworthiness program, and it's defeating you from shining your light at the level you can. So let's do some energy practices to help you feel who you are and see if we can at least shift it in a positive direction. Here we go. Energy practice 1. Let me check the questions real quick or the comments. All right. Oh yeah, asking. I own a company called Ask Training International. I opened it in 2005. So I had to work to get asking. And last year I joined a group coaching called Infinite Receiving. And it's a beautiful program. If anyone's interested, let me know. I'll connect you to it. It isn't what I teach. It's what I'm actually one of the members of. And so it's, you know, give, ask, receive, what we all must do. Okay. Linda, I'm going to read your sweet comment to everybody afterwards. Let's get into the ring of knowing, everyone. All right, the ring of knowing is an amazing way to create a energy group that supports you in feeling more of who you are. So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine in front of you a hula hoop. It's an easy way to imagine a ring. And in this hula hoop, I want you to start sending positive knowings about yourself. So if you know you really care for other people's feelings and other people's hearts, if you know that you have unconditional love, if you know that you love animals, animals love you, you love trees, whatever it is, anything you know about yourself. But I mean know. I mean know in your body. I mean know. I mean K-N-O-W, embodied. I know I am loved. I know I am liked. I know I am whatever you know you are. I want you putting it into that ring. And if you can remember a time when you were in that energy. So remember, so I know I'm happy. And we might not always feel happy, but we know we have the ability to be happy. Remember a time when you were happy, a specific time. And imagine looking through your own eyes in that specific time you were happy. Hearing what you were saying to yourself. Feeling what you were feeling when you were happy. And now from your heart, send that happiness energy into that hula hoop in front of you. Now do this with a couple more positive ways you feel and know about yourself. See yourself in a past situation where that energy was running strong, where that emotion and that knowing was visceral. I'm good. Think of a time where you felt really, really good and you had done something good and it's just emanating off you, right? Like there's this beautiful goodness that's happening in you and around you. Send that energy, remembering what you saw, what you heard from yourself and others and how you felt. Send those good feelings into that hula hoop imagined in front of you. Now let's do one for joy. Remember a time where you really felt you were in joy. A bunch of people have balloons involved. So whenever you're feeling, just go ahead, that joy energy. Closing your eyes might make it easier. Imagine seeing yourself in that time where you felt really filled with joy. Hear what you're saying to yourself, what other people are saying to you, the good stuff happening around you when you were in joy. Feel that joy in every cell and allow yourself to send it out your heart to that ring. So we now ask the energy, all this positive energy in the ring of knowing, to anchor in, to become solidly there for you. Now step into, imagine, if you can do it, most of you are probably sitting, but imagine stepping into that ring and just feel all of that wonderful, beautiful knowing of all the good stuff that is you. This is your ring of knowing. You can work on this, you can make it juicier, you can make it stronger. Just keep asking to put in those positive things, ask those things to anchor in and maintain themselves there. And then your ring of knowing is with you whenever you want it. I can sit into a big meeting and imagine the ring of knowing in the chair I'm sitting in a conference room. And it just, it's like my own light tunnel of inner love, knowing that you're loved, knowing that you're supported, knowing that you're worthy, okay? Create your own juicy ring of knowing so that you too can have that as a power tool. And you've just learned this as a skill empath. You're doing fantastic. Great question. Let's see. Okay, if you can't remember a joyful time, that's a great question. Thanks for asking it. Imagine. So if you can't, this is a great question. I so am grateful for that question. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you can't remember a time, imagine. Pretend. Create your own movie. You can do this. You've got the ability to imagine anything. So imagine a time where you were joyous. Or imagine feeling like you've seen a child feel when they're little and they're just running around blissed out because of whatever. Maybe that's why all the balloons were coming. Balloons on wrists were the pictures that I was seeing. And you know how when a little one gets given a balloon when they're 2 or 3 years old and they watch that balloon and they're just so full of joy? You can imagine that in you and do the same thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you for the question. Heart connection. This is one of my favorite ways to be in a state of being empaths, where you can really feel where you are. And going ahead and using your energy to connect into your heart. And when you're in your heart, you are out of your mental fluxing and down in your gut, your emotional fluxing, okay? So your heart is your center energetically. And what we're gonna do is you're gonna put a hand out in front of your forehead and the other hand palm up down on your lap, okay? Closing your eyes, hand in front of your forehead, hand on your lap. Just allow your hands to come naturally together. Your bottom one coming up, your top one coming down. When they meet, go ahead and flatten them, palm over your heart. They can be separate, they don't have to be stacked. Let them be separate. Notice what happens. If you didn't do it with me, do it now. Left palm up, right palm down, bringing them gently and easily together. There you go. Creating that heart connection. This heart connection, empaths, hands on the heart. This heart connection gets you out of your thought loops and your feeling loops. And then your feeling thought loops and your thought feeling loops. Anybody do any of this stuff? Anybody do this overwhelm? Think about something, feel about it, think about it, think about it, feel about it, feel about it, think about it. Heart connection. It is the way to get out of that loop. Your 6th and 5th chakra, your throat and your 3rd eye work together in the mental plane. Your 2nd and 3rd chakras, your sacral and solar plexus, work together in the emotional plane. When you do this, you get out of those 2 planes of physical world energy and you get into your heart. Your heart connects into your crown and also connects into your root, which gets you here now while you're connected. I agree with Marie. Loops are the worst, and they are what we do so well as naturally empathic people. Heart connection is the easiest way to get out of the loops. Linda wrote, oh, when I remember to do this, it relieves the pain in my neck that is caused from stuck energy from my head and not heart connecting. Yeah, a lot of us have neck pain. That is a great point. A lot of us have physical world neck pain because we are blocking the emotional connection right here between these chakras in our heart. And when you look at it like that, you're like, wow. So, and back here is where you get a lot of spiritual energy. This is where your spiritual hearing comes from and where your spiritual voice gets clarity. And if you've got pain back here, that is energetic. No medical advice is given. Is energetic. Know that it can be a block to that. Ah, wow. Well, that from an energy point of view, that is where some of the neck pain could be coming from. Absolutely. Absolutely. So glad that that's awareness for you. All right. So here's our next energy information, forgiveness. Empaths, you understand already about forgiveness. The big thing about forgiveness for us empathic people is because our memories are often charged with emotions. And if we have to forgive something, it's often that we feel we have to forgive another for their behavior towards us. Here's something to know about forgiveness. Forgiveness really is an inside job. It's another area where when we allow ourselves to forgive what's going on, what happens is we align inside us, okay? It doesn't mean we condone another's behavior or choice. It just means we're no longer in judgment of it, and that judgment is where we are actually forgiving ourselves. So forgiveness is freedom in my personal world. I worked on forgiveness greatly. I have a story in Hawaii where my forgiveness practices come from. In our school, Hawaii Koloha, I had been through our extended Ho'oponopono ritual, which isn't what I'm sharing today. I'm sharing the simplified ways of creating forgiveness. But in our ritual of Ho'oponopono, I had worked on it really intently. Yet all of my stuff was up, all my emotional stuff was up around my dad. And I had this whole list of things I wanted to tell him he had done to me. So I was still in blamer and still playing lots of victim energy. This was 2007, 2006, Mother's Day weekend. And my parents came to visit, and I was going to have this sit-down talk with my dad. Well, Spirit had a different idea. I didn't have more than like 40 seconds alone with my dad in 3 days. And then a month later, I flew out to Hawaii, went through the forgiveness extended ritual again. And a month later, so in July, I called my dad and I asked him to forgive me. Forgive me for being the angry child. Forgive me for being really sensitive in anything and taking everything personally and really making life all about me. We all empaths have narcissistic behavior because we are so sensitive. We take everything in. After we get hurt enough, then we act out. And I came in with my anger plumb full, like I mentioned, so I was good at acting out. In the long run, he was like, well, you need to forgive me. And I said, well, I already forgave you, so I'm asking you to forgive me. So forgiveness is an amazing, amazing connection tool with those that are important in our life, and mainly with ourselves, everybody. Ho'oponopono means to make things right, very right. And it's about aligning the energies in you. So here are 2 quick practices to support you on aligning the energies in you. The first is my very favorite, The first is the forgiveness practice from Mike Kumu, Maggie Connors Kumu, George Lanakila Keiki Ahi Ali'i Naupe. It took me a lot of years to learn how to say that one. Uncle George passed through the Rainbow Bridge to the other side of the veil in October 2009. This Hawaiian forgiveness prayer is Ualeva Iovau Kalamai Iau. I'll say it one more time. Ualeva Iovau Kalamai Iau. And what it means is if I have done anything, whether it is in my words, my thoughts, or my actions, I ask you to forgive me. So, where could you use this? Every night before I go to bed. If I have done anything wrong, whether it is in my words, my thoughts, or my actions, I ask you to forgive me. I'm talking to me. Whether it is what I didn't do or what I did do, oftentimes empaths, it's what we didn't do that we really create this unforgiveness around in ourselves. If it's another, if you can look someone in the eye and say to them, if I've done anything wrong, whether it be in my words, my thoughts, or my actions, I ask you to forgive me. Especially if you've got your hands on your heart. You're saying it from a place of grace. If you can mean that, you can mend. You can mend some of the biggest wounds in you and with others with just one long sentence. And in Hawaiian, I love the vibration. Ualeva Iovau Kalamaiau. So some of you have been, have seen or been taught the self-identity I version of Ho'oponopono. This comes from Morna Nalamuku Somanyong. And she actually did it at the UN. She taught it to Dr. Len Healeakala, and he taught it to Joe Vitale. So if you've read Zero Limits or heard about Ho'oponopono through Zero Limits, that's awesome. Dr. Joe Vitale learned it from Dr. Len A. Haleakala, who learned it from Morna Simignon. So, and Morna was, for those of you that are a little older like me, connected to Buckminster Fuller too, here on Hawaii Island. Bucky Fuller came over and did a lot of his experiments in energy and understanding here on the Big Island of Hawaii. So all of this information is actually Ho'oponopono. That Ualeva Iovau Kalamaiau is one way to ask for forgiveness. And the self-identity I way is I love you. I apologize. People will say I'm sorry. Sorry brings you into sorrow, empaths. So I took the liberty. This is my adapted way of saying it. I love you. I apologize. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you're really saying it to yourself. My funniest story about this one is with my mom. She calls me about 5-6 years ago and says, honey, what are the 4 phrases? Your dad's being a pain in my butt again. What are the 4 phrases? My butt hurts. What she means is she thinks my dad is a pain in her butt when he doesn't do what she wants. And she literally creates physical pain in her right hip, back of her hip, top of her butt. So my dad becomes a pain in her butt. And she's so funny because she keeps this. They used to have 2 houses. They do now. Now they have one in Oregon and one in California. This one was in Minnesota. And she's like, I need those 4 magic phrases that keep the pain out of my butt. So the 4 magic phrases is, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you. I'm like, Mom, it's called Ho'oponopono. So those of you that are laughing, it's cool because it is pretty darn funny. And it's about alignment. And my mom was really real world case study proof that when you embody, I love you, I apologize, please forgive me, thank you, that you don't store that energy. So if something goes on in your day, in your week, in your month, in your year, if something's going on that's been going on a long time, do this. Do this. Repeat this set of 4 phrases over and over, and you'll watch the energy change. My favorite thing to do with this is to put it on repeat. So I do it a number of times, and then I have to go take an action here in the physical world, and I ask it to repeat. Because empaths, remember that loop we're talking about? Let's make a good loop. What if your loop you're running is, I love you, I apologize, please forgive me, thank you. How much cooler is that? Just consider what can happen in your life. when you get in that kind of alignment. These, I want to give a caveat. This isn't so that people can go do anything they want. This is about aligning the energy in you so that you can be in more love, more peace, more grace, in a place where you can enjoy your life from a place of empowerment. The question is it easy to forgive ourselves? Forgiving yourself is the hardest thing in my own personal experience that happens. And that's why these are so important. Forgiving ourselves. And this isn't like, hall pass here. It's more leaving the past in the past. Forgiveness is a way to leave the past behind, uncharge it, and allow yourself to be in a place of empowered action, from a place of inspired connection, from a place of grace and love, in my personal experience. All right. All right, Vandy. A light bulb just went off. I love when that happens. Oh, you mean a light bulb went on? I got that. That was cute, honey. Cute. Awesome. I said, please forgive me to my dad out loud. Yeah, I did. The person does not need to be on this plane and does not need to be in your physical world to be working with the energy between you. Thank you for that question, Andy. That's huge. So some of you may have someone who is alive that you would like to do forgiveness work with. It's real. That's where the ritual comes in. The ritual makes it really easy to do that. I guide this ritual at times if anybody's interested in doing a Ho'oponopono virtual couple hour. I usually call it Aloha and Forgiveness. I'll put one of those together. So if people have interest, let me know and I'll get you on a list and I'll get one of those done one weekend here coming up. The person does not need to be with you. You can do it in your mind's eye. That our imagination comes in really handy for that. If the person's on the other side of the veil, work like that. If the person you feel would be difficult to have the conversation with, once you've had the conversation inside yourself, it's amazing because then the conflict has lifted and you can have the conversation outside. So with my dad, which was the question, because I'd done the forgiveness work inside me, I actually picked up the phone and called him and had that verbal conversation. My dad is a long pauser and he paused really, really long before he said anything. I was like, did I lose the connection? But he just couldn't talk yet because he had to embody that I had forgiven all that was going on. All right. Right blessings of aloha, everybody. If you want to get the aloha and forgiveness, get on that list. Go ahead and personal message me. That way I can start a physical world list because I won't have this. Right blessings of aloha, everyone. Thanks for taking your time with me. 44 minutes, a magical number today. Big hugs of aloha. There we go.